So now, Tina, we're looking at a piece that you've named Renewal, and it has a bit of the fantastic that we saw in those smaller pieces, but this is the largest piece in the show. It looks like it's 3 feet by 5 feet, and you've filled it up with lots of detail. And I just wonder, obviously it's it more than some of these others that are depicting scenes. I feel like this is telling a story. Is it possible for you to talk us through this piece, and if you'd like, direct us toward any of the features or details?
This one is directly related to the Dixie Fire and watching the destruction and feeling hopeless and feeling so much pain for everybody around us that is suffering. And I had an idea. This was actually something in a conversation with a friend that, you know, talking about going forward and what that could look like. I have to say, before I even go here, I almost didn't put this one in the show. It felt so personal and so out there that I almost chickened out. So then I decided to just go for it, and I'm glad I did. So, because it's gotten a good response. But looking at the footage and driving around and seeing the destruction that was happening just feels so overwhelming, but knowing that there is hope for life. We went through some hiking areas from last year before the forest closed down that had been damaged by the North Complex fire, and there were so many signs of life and hope a year later that I thought, okay, I'm hoping that we as a community can work together to bring change to this area, because so much of it has been devastated this year. So the butterfly is a representation of time, metamorphosis, change, looking forward, and the fact that it is the shape of a monarch but not monarch colors kind of points to thinking out of the box in the future, making changes going forward, and then that hint of the magical element. The color coming off could be viewed as paint or not paint. It could just be magical color or just change, basically. And everywhere the butterfly has been, the landscape is changing back to its glory, and eventually, hopefully, we'll get there. Everywhere that the color has touched, there is a touch of color in the scene, including our antlered friend over there, whose antlers are teal because he's been touched by what the butterfly represents. So he's kind of like all of us watching this happen, and we're all touched by the change. And the water bringing life to everything, and then the magic that the butterfly brings, changing the color of the water, kind of represents that as well.
It seems like living in the times of COVID and smoke has had a real impact on your work, and it does seem to me like you're thinking your way into your pieces in some pretty powerful ways. Does that strike you? It sounds like as you're creating?
Yeah, not necessarily as I'm creating. Most of the time it's not a purposeful thing. A lot of times it'll just happen. But this one was purposeful. I purposely picked certain things to represent certain things in this particular piece. So this one was definitely different than what I normally do.
Powerful stuff.
Thank you.